Hey there, everyone. This is Mr. C here, back again, and as you can see, I've got Vivet, our rainforest, our red-eyed tree frog, back with us today. And so I know that we've been reading some books about frogs. Yesterday, we read this narrative nonfiction book called The Red-Eyed Tree Frog, or not The Red-Eyed Tree Frog, just Red-Eyed Tree Frog, by Joy Cowley. And one of the interesting things that we learned in this story was we saw this great photo series where at the very end of the book where the red-eyed tree frog climbed onto a leaf and slowly went to sleep. And we were thinking a little bit about how once he closed his eyes, he perfectly blended in with the color of that leaf. So, I've been thinking a little bit about that. As Gio and I take care of Coco and Jumper, one of the things we noticed early on is that we didn't see them a whole lot during the day. In fact, he made a video for his class to try and show them a little bit about the frogs, because he was excited about that when they first came home with us. And we went to go take a video and couldn't find them. And we went back, couldn't find them, and we realized, hey, they're sleeping all day. And that's just what these frogs do. They're nocturnal animals. So it got us thinking, well, maybe why is that? Okay. Well, so that idea kind of came back to my mind the other day when I was reading that book, because it mentions here that just as we are all going to sleep, the red-eyed tree frog is just getting up and going out to hunt. So I have this other book that I pulled from our library at school, and this one's also Red-Eyed Tree Frog. This one's by Tamara B. Orr, and it's from the series Exploring Our Rainforests by Cherry Lake Publishing. And this is a nonfiction book. We definitely learned a lot here, but it was through a story of this red-eyed tree frog going to find a meal, where we learned a little bit about it. This one is organized a little bit more like your traditional nonfiction book. It's got this table of contents that kind of gives us a sense of the different chapters or sections of the story of the book, and it might give us a place to start, because we're really looking for some information on rainforest tree frogs, the red-eyed tree frogs, and why they sleep during the day. So I'm looking here at the chapter titles. We've got Colors That Dazzle, Up in the Trees, Meat to Eat, Mating and Laying Eggs, and then Avoiding Predators. So chapter 5, Avoiding Predators, maybe that's a place to begin. I know we talked a little bit about their coloring and the fact that they blend in with the leaves. I wonder, though, if that will mention anything about sleep, but might as well check it out. So I'm going to go to page 24. I'm going to take a look at the text features there. This is all about avoiding predators. And I see a photograph here, and it's showing the eggs that the frog lays. And notice their coloring. They definitely blend in. All of a sudden I see a coral snake. Wonder if that's one of the predators. I know we met a snake in the other book we read yesterday, and certainly he was worried he'd become lunch. And then, they mentioned, there's the picture here with the red eyes, and maybe how it says here, if I just read this caption, the frog's red eyes can sometimes frighten away predators, so that's a way to avoid danger too. And I'm just looking through here. There's a few other text features. There's some bold words: toxic, startle, coloration, hues, or paralyzing. But as I skim through the text, I'm not seeing anything about sleep. So I'm wondering, maybe this book doesn't have anything about their sleep patterns. But I do know that a lot of our nonfiction books often have a section near the back, if not at the very back, called the index. And much like a table of contents, the index is going to tell us where we can find certain information in the book. The difference is the table of contents is going to tell us the big titles or headings of each chapter, kind of give us some big big ideas for each of those small sections. But this is going to tell us specific topics that they talk about. And they do alphabetize this, so all I have to do is go to where the letter S is for sleep. And sure enough, it mentions sleep right there. Pages 11, 12, 13, and 21. So 11, 12, and 13 are back to back. I'm going to go to that section first because maybe that's a good section. It's going to have some good information here about the sleep and why these animals are nocturnal. All right, the first thing I see right off the bat is a body diagram. Of course, there's those red eyes. That's why they get their name, red-eyed tree frogs, and the suction cups on their toes. Now, we don't have red-eyed tree frogs here. We have a white Australian tree frog. But I can tell you, they do have those same suction cups because I see them use them to stick to the side of the terrarium sometimes, the way they grip a hold of different places in the terrarium when I do see them come out. Okay, so let's take a read of this section because, hey, that's one way you can read a nonfiction book is just to go in and look for certain information. Since we're looking for information about tree frogs' sleeping habits, let's take a look at these few pages and see what we can learn. All right. So the first thing I see is this great picture. There it is, of the red-eyed tree frog, and it says here, the caption says, "The frog is the right shade of green to blend in with the leaves," which is something we noticed with the book we read yesterday. And it says here, "When the sun is out and much of the rainforest wildlife is starting a new day, the tree frog is preparing to go to sleep." We learned that, didn't we? Carefully, it selects a leaf and camouflages itself by completely hiding its colors. It wants to look like nothing more than another piece of the jungle greenery. The tree frog attaches itself to the underside of the leaf and uses its sticky toes to hold on. Every morning, the frog chooses a different place to sleep. It never goes to the same spot twice. And I noticed that they talk about some of those features that show up in that diagram. I think the author did that on purpose in order for us to be able to see those different physical features that they're talking about. The red-eyed tree frog uses its eyes to help keep itself safe from harm. Its 3 eyelids open and close from the bottom up. One eyelid has gold-colored lines running through it. This makes the eyes look almost like stained glass windows when they are closed. This special eyelid keeps items from getting in and causing damage. It is called I'm going to have to work this word out. Okay, it's kind of a big one there. Let's break it down. I do see that suffix ing at the end, so let's break it into its syllables. Let's see, nictitating. It is called a nictitating membrane. Never heard that word before. Now, dogs, birds, cats, fish, and reptiles also have 3 eyelids. Interesting. The red-eyed tree frog uses its eyes for one more thing, finding something to eat. It has excellent vision in the dark and uses that skill when it is time to get up and hunt. There's a text box down here. It's called Think About It. And then I've got this other great illustration over here. I think I'll take a look at the illustration and read that caption up top. When they sleep, the frogs try to blend in with the leaves. Okay, so maybe that's one of the big reasons why it blends in when it does. It hangs out on those leaves. It says down here, think about it. In order to sleep undetected, the red-eyed tree frog has to tuck its 4 legs tightly underneath it. Can you think of other animals that sleep this way? I think the first one that comes to mind is maybe a turtle. I know that, turtles have the ability to not only pull their legs in, but also their head in. And that's certainly a way to protect itself, because that hard shell is definitely protection from other predators. So I knew they do that, probably also when they sleep. I wonder what other animals pull their legs in just like that, maybe for the purpose of keeping their color as a way to camouflage in with its surroundings. All right, so while we do know why they sleep the way they do, didn't quite answer why they're sleeping during the daytime and not at night. So we might have to do a little bit more digging. It did mention, what was the other page? Page 21. So I could go there and see if they mention anything else. So this is a single page. Oh, they just have a nice bright illustration here with a caption and another text box. So let's see what else there is. It says, in most frog species, the females are bigger than the males. That's interesting. Doesn't help us with their sleeping. And it says, look again, look at this pair of red-eyed tree frogs. How can you tell which is the male and which is the female? Well, using the information up top, that female is the bigger one. We know very clearly which one is the female. And if I'm using the information that I just learned in those pages earlier in the book, it looks like the male's asleep. So I wonder if that's why they included this, because we can actually see the male sleeping here. What's kind of funny is we do see the frogs, Coco and Jumper, out from time to time. And one day we saw them, and they were very much like this, right on top of each other. And so Gio was teasing that maybe we needed to teach them about social distancing because they were awfully close to one another. But much like our families, I think it's okay for our frogs to kind of be close, right? So we might be keeping distance, but we're with our families and we're with those that we're most close to. So, well, we learned a little something today looking in this nonfiction text, Tamara B. Ork. Got to see some great text features, learn a little bit more about the red-eyed tree frog. Still going to be on the hunt to find out maybe why these animals are nocturnal. But I do think this was a good text to jump in and see what we could find. We'll have to see if I can trip across something else that might help us with learning a little bit more about the frogs we're taking care of. Until then, though, I hope you all have a great day. I hope you're able to learn something new, explore, read more, and we'll see you soon. Take care.